All right, you little bears, you have been so much fucking fun. Are you ready to see the stars of the night? I asked them how they wanted me to bring them out, and Ray was just like, I don't care, just get us on the stage. Brad was like, I'm not talking to you. And Chuck was like, why don't you just call us the three dweebs? So I'm bringing out my three favorite dweebs in the entire state of Rhode Island. You guys, please put your hands together for Ray Harrington, Chuck Staton, and Brad Rohrer!
Oh, hello again, everyone. Oh, it's lovely to see everybody. We're gonna bring the table out just a little bit, and then Brad's gonna lay on it, and that'll be good. And then I'm gonna come this way. Thank you all so much for coming out. We really do appreciate it. Sincerely, I should probably say that facing you instead of just showing you my ass.
What would it be without Funbearable doing some awkward fumbling at the top of the show, right? How you guys doing?
There we go. Now, I originally wanted to avoid all of the fumbling and simply have a big tarp over us as we sat here. And then somebody would pull the tarp, revealing the boys. That sounded horrifying.
Now, I love asking this at the top of any Funbearable show. How many people here know Funbearable, the podcast, or listen to it? And as always, how many people have no idea what the fuck they're getting themselves into? Yeah!
All right, let's start from the beginning. Podcasts. I thought somebody else would say something after.
I was ready to learn.
It's little episodes of the radio.
So we've been doing this podcast for 2 years. We're hitting 100 episodes. We wanted to do this very special celebration. We want to thank you guys for coming out very much. It's very important to us. And so I had an idea for the guys where I thought maybe we could finally really tell each other how we feel about each other. Right? Thank you.
It wouldn't be like that.
No. Thank you. And as I'm sure you'll all agree, the only real way to know how you would feel about someone is if they were dead. Who agrees with that?
And who is in a healthy relationship?
So I said, Ray, Brad, I think we should open our 100th episode of our comedy podcast by writing each other's eulogies.
He did say that. He did say that.
And luckily, my two buddies said, that's an awesome idea.
That was
and then
not...
he called us.
That was, yes. It's all right.
But Ray and Brad indulged me, and I really appreciate that. I think that's what the podcast is about, Ray and Brad indulging my ideas. And so tonight, to open the show, we did write each other's eulogies. So you are all going to be part of our fictional funerals.
What better way to embody a live experience?
So what we did was Ray and Brad worked together to write my eulogy. Brad and myself worked together to write Ray's eulogy. And of course, Ray and myself worked together to write Brad's eulogy. So tonight, we are going to be reading our eulogies. And just to get us in the mood, Craig, can we go to the next slide?
Fantastic.
I got to be honest, I did the Photoshop work for this, and this one image I really kind of enjoyed.
I'm glad that listening to your own eulogy is the one thing that Chuck got from Tom Sawyer, because I thought he was going to take one other thing, and we're like, take the eulogy, take the eulogy.
No, for that to work, he'd have to have a black friend.
No, I can use it on anybody.
Good, put it
So, So, how are you Brad, you're going to read my eulogy?
I have your eulogy queued up, ready to go.
All right.
But before I do, hello and welcome to another episode of Funbearable. I'm Brad Rohrer.
I am Chuck Staton, the dead man in the picture.
And I'm Ray Harrington, the one that put him there.
Yeah.
I knew it. Alrighty.
So I'm going to read Chuck's eulogy.
Hold on, we got to make sure the mood. Everyone be so sad that I died. Thank you.
Wait till you find out what they found.
Yep. A special thank you to the Somber Brothers Mortuary for acquiring a casket in such a unique shape. I'm sure finding a sort of U-shaped casket wasn't easy, but that's what was required. You see, Chuck died doing what he loved, sucking his own dick. You did it, buddy. I know you always said if that's how you went out, it was worth it. Also, I want to take a moment to personally say the headstone was not our idea. Chuck had that made years ago and had made plans with the cemetery. I think his exact words were, I want to be dressed as a Confederate general from the Civil War, standing next to Jesus, but I'm taller and you can tell my ween is a little bigger. Chuck could often be heard on the phone with his marble guy, chub the ween, chub the ween. And also, make Jesus look less Jewish. On the podcast, Chuck played the part of criminally horny weirdo.
I don't like that dolphin in the crowd.
Chuck was so committed to this role that he continued to live it out when we weren't recording. And even when no one else was around, so dedicated. We aren't burying one man today. We're burying one man and thousands of pubic lice and mountains of DNA evidence that we're sure would solve countless cold cases. Chuck did have some small requests for his remains to be buried and not cremated because, as he said, with the amount of hairspray I use, add an open flame and I'm going up like that house fire I fraudulently set. He also requested he be buried with a mirror so he could lay to rest with the person that meant the most to him in this life and beyond.
This was your idea.
He also wanted to be buried, again in his words, in a nice spot. No minimum wage people around me. Service workers, yuck. Who wants to be buried next to the help? The passing of a friend is always sad, but it's made sadder still knowing that Chuck won't be around to see what horrible thing they do to Jurassic Park next. Or that he won't get to watch his episode of To Catch a Predator when it airs next month. Or that he'll miss the new Netflix true crime documentary about him called Pity Fuck. There's so many people here today that have been touched by Charles Staton. And many more still that have allegedly been touched by Charles Staton. Look, if you're one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, we thank you for your bravery and your respect to not start booing until after the service. I see there's a lot of you in the crowd. I have to give it to you. Your signs are pretty funny and your evidence extremely compelling. Some of you may know Chuck from his time in local punk band Senior Discount. Minor Threat, Stiff Little Fingers, Circle Jerks. These are some punk bands, but they're also nicknames Chuck had in college. Senior Discount served as the answer to the question, what if Guy Fieri played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater one time?
One level.
It's not all sad, though. There are some positive things that have come with Chuck's passing. There are far fewer Amber Alerts now. Cashiers, waitresses, and service workers all over the East Coast and beyond can sleep a little easier. And the fans of Tuesdays with Stories finally got what they've always wanted. Episodes with no Chuck. Some of Chuck's final wishes must have been written a while back because they're a little out of date. Please donate in his name to the Obama is Kenyan Truther Fund. The end of his will just says, I hope I didn't die before Mary Kate and Ashley turn 18. Okay, 15 and a half. There's also a line that just said, I didn't kill JonBenet Ramsey, but it was crossed out. But he also wrote wink wink after it. He did want to say to you all, I know I'm gone, but don't be sad. I'm sure I'm in heaven with all the great men, like Bill Cosby, Jared Fogle, Kevin Spacey, and the coolest guy I know personally, Jeffrey Epstein. I probably died in a plane crash because I'm on old Jeff A's jet so much. Well, I don't know if that's heaven, but I'm sure wherever they end up, Chuck will be there too. Ordinarily, we'd give a 21-gun salute at the end of a service like this, but Chuck arranged something for himself, a 17-gun salute. But he assured us the guns sound totally mature and no one would know it was only 17. He said, at a stretch, get an AR-15 with an old soul. We close with a reading from Chuck's favorite piece of poetry from his favorite poet. He would often recite parts of it and weep openly. He said he modeled most of his life, personality, and look on the author. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. Chuck Staton.
That was so good. That was so funny. I know I'm probably supposed to be mad, but man, you guys are great.
I'm sweating so much.
Me too. A little hot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read Ray's eulogy. Craig, can you go to the next slide? Now, here's the thing. It is nice to feel like we're at Ray's funeral, but I couldn't get into character to really write his eulogy unless I knew the details of his death. So I reached out to an artist. I told him all about Ray, and I said, however you think Ray might die, could you draw it, depict it, so that I can really get an idea for it? You know?
Sure, I know.
So Craig, if you could go to the next slide.
Oh, my new headshot.
So the artist said that you travel so much that you'll probably be in this awful car accident where a Mack truck runs over your midriff, your rib cage shoots out of your back, and R.I.P. Ray.
How many times did you jerk off to this?
If I had drawn it, it'd be a lot more. But Brad and I have prepared Ray's eulogy. Ray has never heard this before, of course. And to my big buddy. We are here to eulogize Raymond, Adolf, Osama, Saddam, Harrington. That's my joke. The surviving members of Funbearable, us, Chuck and Brad, have been hired to eulogize our fallen hero. This giant of a man, this titan of comedy, this King Kong of male Karens. Ray is the answer to the question, can a mammoth man have a micro penis? We won't answer that today out of respect for his unsatisfied wife. To be clear, mammoth does not have to do with his size. Ray was simply a very woolly human being, and like the noble mammoth, is now sadly extinct. Also the weird teeth. Ray leaves behind an extended family that referred to him as the uncle you can't be alone with. If you knew Ray, You knew that he would constantly say, "I'm not trying to be egotistical," and I always agreed with him. Regardless of what self-serving, navel-gazing, narcissistic comment he would make after that sentence, he truly never was trying to be egotistical. He was succeeding with flying colors. Ray was an accomplished stand-up comedian who once said, "I'd have a female comic open for me over my dead body." Anyway, Chuck and Brad would like you to give it up one more time for Katie Arroyo. Ray wasn't just a meandering comedian. He was also a filmmaker. He directed the documentary Be a Man, which now, 10 years after its release, has a prestigious Rotten Tomatoes rating of title not found, please search again.
That one was good.
Ray is gone, and Hollywood is in shock. They're in shock that someone's passing could affect the future of filmmaking even less than the death of Screech. Ray's next project is in jeopardy. Everyone's asking, now who's going to star in the Harvey Weinstein movie? Steven Spielberg said, "We could use prosthetics on another actor to make his appearance as ugly as Weinstein's." But Ray captured the ugly in his soul. They were two peas in a pod, birds of a feather. They were almost the exact same person. The only difference was one of them got caught. Ray's next project is also in jeopardy. Everyone's asking, now who's going to star in the Jeffrey Epstein movie? Martin Scorsese said, "No one I know has more experience on that island than Ray Harrington." Ray was on that island for 2 years researching his role as Epstein, living as Epstein, like a true method actor. And we didn't even offer him the part until last month. The following companies have sent in their condolences for the passing of their #1 customer. Gold Bond.
That's a true one.
The Westboro Baptist Church Donation Department.
No, hear me out.
Four Loko.
Wow.
The people who make that horny goat weed you can buy at the gas station. Alex Jones Legal Defense Fund. The company that makes those gigantic remotes for the elderly. And finally, ISIS. Oh. That's right. Ray was a customer of ISIS. What was he buying? Per state law, Ray will be buried in a double-wide burial plot. This has nothing to do with his size. It's in order to accommodate his massive ego. Goodbye, Ray. We gain nothing from your death besides the fact that Funbearable's listenership has skyrocketed since we've released episodes without you. We're sure it's a coincidence, regardless of the clear and obvious link between our ratings explosion and your bizarre death. P.S. We want to apologize again to the coroner for the smell. We wish you a speedy recovery.
Chuck and I wrote that in a coffee shop, and there were two guys clearly having a business meeting next to us. And we're like, micro penis. What would go...
That's all I came to the table with was the word micro penis and going, how do we make this work?
I always like the idea that when we do stuff like this and it turns into roast jokes, there is a feeling of like when you were a child and you were playing pretend with other kids, and one kid's like, yeah, we're going to play pretend. So my name is the same, I do the same things, and I feel the same way about you. And that's what it feels like. But that's not the last person that died here today.
Oh, no. There's one more death.
Was the other one Katie Arroyo?
No.
Oh, no. I know who it's going to be.
Unfortunately, it finally happened. Brad Rohrer has passed away.
Wow.
I know.
Okay, well, this isn't the right tone for the jokes.
Craig, can we get a next, please? Thank you.
Now, I noticed there's one very obvious funny thing happening here, but in the background, your widow.
I would also like to point out, we got Brad in the basement, and we're like, eat this hot dog and let us take a picture. And he's like, why? And we're like, eat it. And he's like, why? And then he smiled and ate it.
To be fair, Chuck is lying about the whys. He just did it. We were in the basement, and we said, eat this hot dog, and we're going to take your picture. And he went, all right.
There's no way to heat up hot dogs.
Oh, boy.
All right, here we go. The day I never wanted to happen is here. A special thank you to the Somber Brothers Mortuary. Brad's will was very specific about his remains. I'll just say it plainly. Brad wanted his asshole sewn shut. He said, quote, in case I go to hell, I don't want Satan ruining my purity ring. That hole is for true love only. He was very concerned about this towards the end. We also want to thank the headstone carver for honoring Brad's request that his birth year be a question mark. Now, I'll be honest, this service is going to be very long. As per Brad's wishes, there will be funeral ceremonies and prayers from every branch of Christian religion to, as Brad stated in his will, cover all the bases. Thankfully, he also expressed firmly that we don't do any non-Christian rituals because, again, in his words, who wants all that ooga-booga nonsense with the bells and the incense and whatever? Quote, those stinkers aren't getting into heaven. That's all I need to know. That's what he said. And we want to apologize for the catering at the wake later today. It's all Brad's favorite foods. Boiled chicken and Ambien. Oh, sorry. Severely boiled chicken and Ambien.
Thank you.
Brad Rohrer was a simple man. He spoke with no emotion. He kept a log of how he spent every holiday, and he enjoyed making spreadsheets. He was what you would refer to as a lady killer. That's not a joke about how he didn't get laid. That's a joke about his tendency to murder women. It wasn't easy finding a cemetery that allowed for Brad's very specific burial instructions. He was a cheap man. So he wanted a very no-frills affair. I know the burial was done in private earlier this morning, and you guys couldn't make it, but we did take some photos to share with you. So if we could go to the next image.
Next.
As you can see, the cemetery groundskeeper really struggling here. Next. We offered to help, but the man was stubborn, just like Brad. Next. The shallow grave, exactly as shallow as Brad requested. Next. Oh, sorry, you weren't supposed to see that one. Sorry, the grave was a little too short. Next. And here lies Brad, just as he asked in his last wishes, and I quote, finally, now I can know what it's like to be a hastily buried body in an unmarked grave for once. You could, do we leave it on that one?
No, next. You got it.
Yeah. I'm surprised to see so many stern-looking elderly German folks in from Argentina. A lot of murmuring from the group about a fallen comrade of the Fourth Reich. Something about they were best friends back in the day. Something about, I can't believe he survived the Allied forces and the bunker just to be snuffed out in a closet. Little is known about Brad's untimely death. We'll never know what he was thinking when it happened. Some say it was a tragic mistake, that he was simply trying to store some old rope in the top of his closet. When he slipped on the stepladder and fell, only to be caught by the neck, and in the struggle to free himself, accidentally pulled his penis out and ejaculated as he choked to death.
Could happen to anyone.
Others say it was something that just went too far. The coroner says he knows exactly what he was doing the whole time. That fortune teller turned out to be right. She said Brad would die with the letters SBC being important. All that knew Brad were certain that this meant suicide by cop. That one day he'd finally snap. But no, sadly, it was just an SBC, a sad boner closet. Brad wasn't the most attractive man. He had a pale, pasty face and his hair looks like it used to. I'm sorry, I'm starting to cry. His hair. It's Brad.
I'm gonna haunt the shit out of you.
His hair looked like it used to be red before someone left him in the front window of a Blockbuster Video for too long. He had a weird, sad, crooked smile that always seemed artificial. He looked like an expired clown, and today he is an expired clown. As per Brad's wishes, this funeral is sponsored by Mountain Dew's newest flavor in the lineup, Mountain Dew Grieving Grape Gush. Say goodbye to a loved one and replenish the electrolytes lost crying with Mountain Dew Grieving Grape Gush. Slay your sorrow and do the do. I've been asked by Brad's family not to bring up the fact that Brad was into girls who were too young for him, so out of respect for his family, we won't be reading this goodbye note from his girlfriend, even though she did cursive for the very first time. And she used her best crayons. Oh, sorry, not goodbye note, bye-bye note. Brad truly lived his life like a candle in the wind, in that just a small breeze could fuck up his whole day. In lieu of flowers, because Brad said that was too much color, he asked that you make a donation to his favorite charity, Coats for Cucks. Brad always supported cucks. He admired them. He often said they were cooler than Kid Rock. Brad would always say, you remember when he would always say, I wish I was a cuck, then at least I'd be in a relationship. So let's hope Brad's up there cucking it up with Jesus right now. Rest in peace, Brad.
I do have spreadsheets. I have a lot of them. That expired clown joke. And I don't want to die until you guys die, because I don't want you doing my eulogy.
It is kind of a mutually assured destruction sort of idea.
Yeah.
I guess, well, Chuck, we did your idea, and it started out fun and then got real sad.
Yep.
We should say, I did want to say this at some point, now that we've read each other's eulogies at a comedy podcast, we want to thank our sponsors. Give it up for RI Food Fights.
Yeah!
The best food organization in Rhode Island. They're awesome. I love them. I love Jim. Check out RI Food Fights. And thank you to Tracy's Cream and Sugar in Warren, Rhode Island. Get a bunch of the staff here. Awesome. So, if you've listened to the Funbearable podcast, you know that we like to come up with strange bits. I guess the eulogies thing was kind of a tip to that.
Yeah.
And we want to do something really special for our 100th episode. So, for a while now, we've been teasing the fact that Ray is going to tell the story of his worst show of all time. And we keep putting it off and putting it on the podcast. So, by the end of tonight, he is going to be telling that story, right?
Yes. It's the live
Finally.
show.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
But before we get there, we do have a very, very special segment that I'm going to explain to you guys, and I hope you're on board for this, because it's going to be quite a fucking thing. All right. I have a bit that I came up with a long time ago called Strangers in Fiction. And the idea is this. On the podcast, we will write descriptions of each other. We will write, a paragraph. And we'll find the very cheapest writers you can possibly find on Fiverr. Fiverr is a website where you can hire someone to do anything online. So you could look up someone to build your website. You could look up someone to write an article for you. It's anything. So we find people who are writers, and we just filter it by lowest price to highest. And that's who we hire to do these scripts. We will supply them with the character descriptions that we've written for each other, and we will say, write a movie script and send it back to us. we will not read the script, and then live, usually on the podcast, we'll read the script for the very first time. But tonight, we have a new Strangers in Fiction script, and it is an action movie starring Brad, Ray, and myself.
Because it is July, it is summertime, and it's time to bring back the summer blockbuster.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We thought, what better way to do it than have someone who, let's probably guess that English is their second language, write a script starring the three of us with the descriptions that we've given for each other.
Yeah,
Yes.
classic action heroes up here.
So I think I paid about $30 each for these action movie scripts, which I think is a pretty good deal.
For them, yeah.
And because we can't read them, we had our buddy Craig in the booth. Give it up for Craig. He's doing everything. We had Craig pick the very best one that we're going to read tonight. Now, before we get to the actual script, I think we should read the character descriptions so we all know what the writers were working with. And much like our eulogies, Brad and I worked together to write Ray's character description and so forth and so forth. And let's start. You want to start with Ray? Let's do it.
Sure, all right.
All right, so Ray, this is the character description that Brad and I wrote for you for the script. Ray hasn't read this before. I hope you think it's accurate.
Okay, Ray, 41-year-old white male, all caps. That sounds like an APB. Ray describes himself as 6'7" and morbidly obese. That's true. He's a lumbering man-child. He looks at Brad and Chuck as flawed, like most other humans. But not like Ray. Ray knows he's perfect just the way he is. Every decision he makes is right, and when his friends make small mistakes, Ray rolls his eyes and shakes his head. These idiots, he thinks, what would they do without my harsh judgment to set them straight? It's a description for me, but I think it's saying more about you, Chuck. Ray is a seasoned stand-up comedian. He's very sharp and very funny. Ray is married with a child, a traditional family man. Ray is very fancy and considers himself a lover of the finer things in life, like true cinema. He thinks it's classless when people, mainly Chuck, have gratuitous sex with many women. Ray knows everything. This is insane, Chuck.
It's true.
It's dead quiet in the room, and everybody's like, what the fuck?
They have to
Like,
write a
now
whole script off this. They have to know your real personality.
Not only do they not like me, I think they also don't like you.
Maybe I didn't write that line.
Ray knows everything because he's Ray, and to Ray, Ray is God, looking down on a world of peons. Also, his favorite restaurant is Applebee's.
Yeah! Guess who wrote that one, Ray? Zing!
There you go. You got him.
All right. Are there any therapists here tonight?
All right. So should I read
after
mine?
the show? We'll speak after the show.
Thank you.
And now I think Brad should probably read his description.
Go for it.
Yeah?
Hand it to Brad. So Ray and I broke Brad's description. And again, we're filling in the writer. All we have is the control of telling him our characters. And
Or
so
her.
Or her.
This guy.
Brad, 46-year-old white male, all caps. Brad is an 80-year-old man trapped in a 60-year-old man's body, even though he's only 46. Accurate. He is very caring, and he strives to be an honest, thoughtful person to everyone he knows. He's very critical of himself. He lacks the self-esteem that those around him know he deserves. He's a great person who doesn't know that he's great. This is very nice, and I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Nope.
Well, I wrote that stuff, so let's see what happens.
He hates to be out of his comfort zone, especially with any foods that are too flavorful. Brad is a mousy, frightened, meek mouse of a man. Brad is nervous and frightened about any kind of confrontation. He is also helplessly robotic and makes spreadsheets about everything. Brad really enjoys hot dogs. He also loves math, spelling bees, and despite his extremely nerdy persona, he occasionally has uncontrollable fits of extreme rage. Spot on, guys. Spot on.
It's all true.
And your description here?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Let's see how accurate this one is. Chuck, 39-year-old white male. That's right, the young gun. All right, let's see. Chuck is a boundary pusher who doesn't respect authority. Chuck is very vain about his stylish haircut and his action figure collection. Chuck is a very excitable guy who gets very excited about pretty much anything. He loves the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and horror movies. He also likes bad movies, but he thinks they're good. Chuck's biggest fan in the world is Chuck. He thinks of himself as the coolest guy in the room. He's also a very thoughtful friend who is considerate and loyal, and he loves to laugh. True. Despite how off-putting his laugh is to others. Extremely true. Chuck is secretly insecure, but he doesn't realize that the things he's insecure about aren't true. Chuck also is extremely sexual in the worst kind of way. Always thinking about sex. Please include his horn dog attitude. Chuck is addicted to gambling and will gamble on anything. Now, I'll say here, never gambled in my life, so who added that one?
I just wanted to spice up the script.
You know what? I like that.
Thank you.
This is like your MO. It's me with Applebee's and him with gambling. You're like, hee hee.
So we have this script that we've never read before. The writer used our character descriptions, of course.
Oh my.
And I'm very excited.
Already.
Just the title.
Now this is a movie script, so it's going to have directions. It's going to have like camera directions and explaining the scenes. And I think Ray is going to take those over.
Yeah, I'll do a narrator voice for those.
Narrator. And then I heard from Craig, he filled us in because he's the one that read this, that there's an antagonist. So I'll take over the antagonist, that voice when it comes up, and Brad is going to take care of any random characters because we truly have never read this script before. We do not know what's going to be in it. This isn't like a joke and we're like, it's going to be funny. We have never read this. So it might not even be funny. So get ready for that. But all right.
Now, keep in mind, this is a summer blockbuster, all right? So I want you to envision people lining up at a movie theater, right? That doesn't happen anymore. But imagine if that happened. And they all are looking up at the marquee, and the marquee says, "The Casted Sun."
The Casted Sun.
Casted.
What does that mean?
All right, we're going to find out.
S-O-N.
S-O-N. The Casted Sun. That is the name of this script.
All right. Here we go. Narrator is kicking in.
All right.
Fade in interior Chuck's room day. The room is a mess. Action figures and horror movie posters litter the walls. Chuck, 39, lays on his bed, his stylish haircut messy. A woman, half naked, lies beside him. Ashtrays overflow with cigarette butts, pills, and half-empty beer cans clutter the table.
I'm a pillhead?
If you walked into that room, you go, and you'd run away. His cell phone rings. Chuck ignores it. The phone rings again. Chuck grits his teeth, reaching for the phone absent-mindedly, and picks up the call.
Yeah.
Chuck, it's Mom.
Mom?
I need your help.
What's wrong?
I just need some money, sweetie. Your father and I are in a tight spot.
Sweetie.
Chuck wrote this. No,
Sweetie, is it my birthday today? Hell, you never called me that even on my birthday.
Can you just listen?
Yeah, what were you saying? Must be hard if you had to call the devil by 6 in the fucking morning, eh? Am I talking to myself? I'm the devil?
Are you the Canadian devil?
Must be hard if you had to call the devil at 6 in the morning, eh?
By the way, if there are mispronunciations or weird wording and stuff, we are going to go for it.
Yeah, we're reading what they wrote.
Committed, yeah.
Whatever they wrote.
All right, back to Mom. God, can you just stop talking?
Mom called. Chuck removes his leg from the bed and sighs.
I'm listening.
We need some money.
Chuck curses, reaches for the cigarette packet, and pulls out a stick.
I don't even know what that means. Mom, I don't have anything right now.
Please, Chucky, just a little something.
I am sorry.
Suddenly, a slap is heard, followed by a menacing voice.
Someone slapped my mom over the phone?
Wait, I'm sorry, is this the antagonist? Am I doing this?
I'm assuming this is the antagonist, perhaps?
All right, maybe this is the antagonist taking over on the phone. Loan shark. You're running out of time, lady. Pay up or suffer the consequences with your husband. My dad?
The sticks fall from Chuck's fingers.
Why am I holding sticks? What does this mean?
I like the idea you have candy cigarettes and you're like, ugh. Mom, listen, I'm fucking tapped right now.
All right. Mom, what's going on?
Chuck,
The line goes dead.
Mom, answer.
He paces the room and continues to dial the number, but it not connecting. He throws the phone aside, moves to the wall, and punches it hard. The girl wakes and turns.
Oh, the girl in my bed.
Hey, honey, is everything all right?
You fucking asshole.
Thanks for coming. Have a great night.
That was...
No way, she's super hot.
That's just her voice. She's had too many candy cigarettes.
Ready for this line? What the fuck is wrong with everybody? I am not your honey or anybody's sweetheart. Get the hell out of my bed and the fuck out of my house.
It's like he listened to Chuck talking to women.
Yeah. And it's especially harsh because they're usually so young, they get so scared. The girl stands in fear, grabs the sheets, and runs into the bathroom. Interior, Loan Shark's warehouse, day. Chuck parks his motorbike and makes way through the narrow part till enters the dilapidated warehouse. Ooh, you always got to get through the narrow part. He approaches a group of tough-looking guys.
Where's Steph? I need to talk to him.
You think you can just walk in here? You're not even worth Steph's time.
Well, tell him I want to see him.
Who are you?
I believe he thinks my parents owe him.
Oh, boy. I'd have to be a different thug.
This is a different thug.
I'll do the other thug.
Thank you.
then.
Yeah.
We have tons of people that owe us, but you look familiar. Your parents don't happen by Old Thomas Street, eh?
That's right.
Oh, you're the son. Oh, like the casted one. Well, you're not getting past us without an invitation. Chuck stands his ground. The thugs block his path to the inner cage.
I'm going into an inner cage? All right. Move aside. I need to speak to Steph.
Make us.
Chuck charges at them, fists flying. The thugs are caught off guard, but soon gain the upper hand as more thugs join. Chuck fights well, but as the more thugs join the fray, he gets it.
Yes.
He's overpowered.
All right, I'm the antagonist. Steph, entering the scene. Enough!
The thugs part, revealing Steph, a menacing figure. You know Steph.
It's S-T-E-F.
Please. Call me Steph.
No wonder your father sneered with disgust when your mom tried to call you. Rushing here without thinking this is one of the stupidest things I have seen in my life.
Have you been to the live podcast recording? Funbearable?
Leave them alone, you nitwit.
Oh, we're getting that R rating.
Steph punches me. Don't show your face here again without my money, lest I won't tell my boys to stop next time.
Chuck lies on the ground, defeated, as Steph exits the scene. Interior, Ray's apartment. I own a home. Day. Chuck enters, looking worried. You just walked into my house? Looking worried. He's face half bruised. Ray, a morbidly obese comedian,
He left your hideout.
sits on the couch, surrounded by snacks. Brad, an 80-year-old man trapped in a 60-year-old's body. Lazy writing!
This is straight. We did that.
Stands nearby. I'm sitting on the couch eating snacks, and you're standing in the living room.
There's no room on the couch because of all the snacks.
Hey, yo, you sit over there. Don't move my Dunkaroos!
My spine, Ray. Let me sit down for my spine.
Sit on those old pizza boxes. I'm gonna build a fort with them. Brad stands nearby, fidgeting while working on some electrical appliances.
It's not going to go well for anyone, least
All right.
of all the appliances.
Now I'm going to read this exactly as written. That's all I know, guys. Come on. You guys got to help me out.
He just bursts into my home like he's Kramer in Seinfeld. He goes, come on, guys, you gotta help me out.
And that's all I know.
Ray smirking. There's a scene missing. The classic parents in peril scenario. But to be clear, are you not the spoilt, never gonna amount to anything kid again?
What?
I think I might be having a stroke.
It doesn't matter.
It does, because I want to know if I'm doing this for them or for you. I always believed your parents have a bad judgment for taking you out. You are not a bad lad. Am I alive? See the way you rushed off to fight for them?
Should I take that as a compliment?
You can it up your ass for all I care. And then I laugh.
I love this.
You know, I know you can't do this without me, and those guys, Sniffles,
Why do you say
I have a score to settle against them. They never touch someone I call friend and go scot-free.
So are you going to help?
Just as nods. I've got a plan.
I don't know, Chuck. This sounds dangerous. It never ends well with his plans.
You are 80 for fuck's sake, man. You're finally telling him. I've just been sitting on the couch eating snacks, watching an 80-year-old man fix a toaster. Why are you still afraid of a little fighting and stuff here and there? Always the old folks wanting to live longer.
Can you just tell me what your plan is?
I'm nodding again. Fear not, young Chuck. I, Ray, have a master plan.
Roll my eyes.
Brad rolls his eyes.
Oh boy, here we go.
We'll infiltrate the loan shark's den, take hostage of his operation, and force him to leave your parents alone.
I'm impressed. How do we do that?
Grinning. Leave that to me. I've got connections.
I don't know, guys. This sounds like a recipe for disaster. We could call police or something. Maybe take some bank loans?
Pish posh, Brad.
Your classic catchphrase.
Oh, sorry. Pish posh, Brad. You're just afraid of a little confrontation.
I'll do whatever it takes to protect my parents.
That's the spirit, Chuck. Now let's get planning. Montage.
Craig, how are we going to do a montage on stage?
Read your montage.
Also, how do you do a montage of planning? Is it just a series of shots of us going? All right. There's a list of the montage.
I know.
Good.
Interior, gambling den, night. You guys love a gambling den. Chuck, Ray, and Brad, dressed in disguise, enter the den. Brad works outside with his laptop, hacking. Didn't you just come in? Hacking into the security system. Chuck mingles with the gamblers, gathering information while he gambles excitedly. Ray. All of this is because he made up the lie that you are into gambling.
I know.
It's like, oh, we got to break into the Applebee.
There's still a bunch of pages left, Ray.
Ray poses as a high roller, distracting the security guards while taking notes. Brad's laptop screen shows him disabling cameras and alarms. Ray looks at Chuck. Oh, no, sorry. Ray looks at Chuck's with the oh, goddamn. Ray looks at Chuck's with a frown as he gambles away. I'll stay.
No, I think you look at me as a frown as I gamble away, like you're disappointed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interior, van, night. Ray, Chuck, and Brad are geared up, ready for action. Remember, 20 minutes in and out, no deviations.
Got it, Ray. I'll be good.
No gambling, Chuck. Stay focused.
I promise, Ray. You love
I
nodding.
nod again, yeah. Time to go. Ray and Chuck exit the van while Brad starts working on his laptop. Why did we leave the 80-year-old man with all the tech? Starts working on his laptop. Interior, Loan Shark's office. Night. Ray creates a diversion. Drawing the guards away from the office.
Cameras down. Operators are blind.
Go, Chuck, get into the office. Chuck slips into the office while Ray keeps the guards distracted. You guys ever tried Dunkaroos? Ray yelling, "Hey, you! Yeah, you! Come and get it!"
What are you offering those guards, Ray?
Dunkaroos! The guards rush towards Ray as Chuck disappears into the office. Interior, Steph's office. Night. Chuck frantically searches for the files in Steph's laptop. Flash drive in hand. He gets it, puts the flash drive in, and begins to copy and send the files. Suddenly, Steph emerges from the bathroom, eyes narrowed.
I'm Steph. What are you doing? Just looking for some papers, Steph. I knew I should have killed you when I had the chance.
Steph charges at Chuck, tackling him to the ground. The two engage in a brutal fight. Brutal fight, punching, kicking, licking, touching, and tearing at each other's clothes. That's actually in there.
Yeah, the tearing each other.
Fucking die, you asshole. Jesus.
He's snarling. It says snarling.
Yeah, I was trying to...
As he's ripping your shirt off.
I'm scared.
Fucking die, you asshole. The fight intensifies, with Steph gaining the upper hand. He pins Chuck to the ground, pulls out a gun, and cocks it.
Time to say goodbye, Chuck.
Hold on. It says in the stage directions.
Oh, yeah.
Steph wipes his mouth.
Time to say goodbye, Chuck. Wait, just one last gamble, Steph. Just for fun. A coin flip.
Steph hesitates, intrigued, and cocks the gun.
It was already cocked. It was already cocked. It's a continuity error. I don't know if we can proceed with this script.
My instinct says I should get this over immediately. Just one flip, man. You win, you shoot me. I win, you shoot me, and leave my parents alone.
I told you, you're bad at gambling.
Trying to be the good guy in the end, huh? What the fuck?
I take the heads, is what he says.
Oh, yeah. I take heads.
Steph pulls out a coin, flips it into the air, and as the coin descends, Chuck uses his leg to kick Steph's hand, sending the gun flying across the room. The coin clatters to the floor, forgotten.
What? Oh, that's so sad.
You little...
A loud gunshot echoes through the offices, leaving the outcome hanging in the balance. Exterior warehouse night. Ray, Brad, and Chuck sit on the curb, exhausted and bloodied, but grinning.
Outcome not hanging in the balance for a long time.
Oh, no, okay.
So I'm fine, apparently.
I'm glad you guys are okay.
Luck saved me, Brad. And your timing with the police was perfect.
Narc.
Also should have been in my character description and eulogy. Glad I could help, though next time, let's avoid the unnecessary fighting. Thinks it's possible, huh? Fighting should be the last resort. No, scratch that. It should never be the resort.
Now, this is very accurate to Brad.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's true.
Ray and Chuck burst into laughter, still high on adrenaline. You're something else, Brad.
Thank you.
We make a pretty good team.
The police officer handcuffs a struggling Steph and puts him in a car.
You reckon your family gonna love me now? Wait, let me do that again. You reckon your family gonna love me now? Maybe I'm a little sadder.
And here's the final line. Don't put your hopes on it, mate. Come on. I owe you fat lots of beer.
The men stand up, brushing themselves off, and leaves the scene. Fade to black.
I know where we were going to get that beer, Ray. I know it.
Applebee's?
We were going to drink good in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they left out your Applebee's thing. Oh, no.
Oh, no. I got to be honest with you guys. We usually have a lot of fun with the Strangers and Fiction. It's a good time. And this one genuinely perplexed me.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Like, this is the one that we have done the most where I am like, what, how? Who, what, where, when, why?
I was surprised at my pill addiction, for sure. I guess my parents were saved. We never saw them again.
No. Well, we only heard your mom.
Right.
And she was begging for money. Just begging for money.
That's true.
And then, I don't know, your character doesn't come out looking great. We did all of this to save your parents, but you don't seem like a cool dude. you're like, what do you want, bitch? To your own mom. And then you're like, hold on, bitch, hold on. Hey, bitch, get out of here.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a likable guy in this thing. It's a little perplexing too. Yeah, I didn't like the pill addiction or the cigarettes or the beer. I mean, Brad added the gambling thing, so you got to give it to the writer. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it would become the entire plot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to know what this writer, what happened to them with somebody named Steph.
Yeah. STEF. That's what I liked.
Yeah. This was...
I mean, Brad really came across as the most important hero of that story, I think. About time.
Yeah, off screen you called the cop at one point.
Yes.
Not the cops. It said the police officer handcuffed Steph.
If you were going to take down a presumably dangerous criminal, one cop is all you need.
I like
if
that we
it's
went
the
to
right
the warehouse.
cop.
We saw the warehouse earlier when
Yes.
Chuck showed up there.
Yeah.
And there were many, many goons.
Yeah, thugs.
And
yeah.
then this time it was just Steph ripping shirts and screaming at you.
And he was okay with the coin toss. Even though
was
he
totally
openly said, I think I should kill you, but I will do this coin toss first.
I mean, to be fair, you did say, if you win, you can kill me, and if I win, you can kill me.
I noticed that too. Thought that was a weird choice there. But Strangers in Fiction is always a gamble. So it kind of fits the script this time.
I will be honest, this was the first time I read part of my stuff going on in the beginning and was genuinely like, hey.
At least you had snacks. I had a pill addiction.
It mentioned there were pills. He took time to describe, all the snacks. The other guy in the room stands in the corner for how many snacks are on the couch.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
We actually had 4 scripts written, and like I said, Craig helped us pick the best one. So we're going to read the other 3 on the podcast
Right now.
at some point. And it's a future episode of the podcast.
We need to keep moving because
We do need to keep doing, yes.
a quick behind the scenes. Chuck will often kind of guesstimate how long something will take, a segment that we do, and that number is always drastically lower than what it ends up being. And I said, hey, I think it's going to be a little long. And he was like, no, it's fine. and it is 8:53. So,
No, we're good.
no, it's fine, but we do need to keep moving, right?
Yes, and I think the fact that we need to keep moving, unfortunately, I mean, what do you think about this last show story?
Oh, okay, so, the
No, I'm
word...
saying we
I think-
cannot do your last show
I think-
story.
I think we need to punt
sorry.
it.
It's going to have to be saved for another day, okay? Yeah. We'll get
fine.
there.
No, it's fine, it's fine,
We'll
it's
get
fine.
there. Just keep it in the tank,
It's
buddy.
fine, it's fine.
Yeah, you got to keep it in the tank.
There I was, eating Dunkaroos.
That doesn't sound like a worst show. It sounds like a pretty good show.
We do have a final segment that I'm really, really excited about that Brad does not know about.
I do not.
And before we get there, I think maybe we should just let everybody know we will have shirts for sale after the show. We have our first shirts. They're right there. We have our first shirts. We made them for our 100th episode.
And we couldn't decide what shirt to be printed, right, and sell these shirts. And, usually you start with one and you build from there, and we couldn't decide. And so we all chose different shirts to be made. Brad?
Just a basic Funbearable artwork.
There you go.
That's fun. That's fun.
It's nice, appropriate.
We've sold 0 so far.
Gracie Cannon did the artwork for that. And then I chose a wonderful one here by artist Kenny Rubanis, right? Look at that. Isn't that fun?
It's nice.
It's nice. We're on mopeds, and Brad is in a double-ended sidecar.
It's a metaphor. And the shirt I chose was this shirt. So we will be selling these right outside the door at the back. We'll be back after the show, like saying hey and stuff like that, selling this kind of stuff. But we do have one final segment that, like I said, I'm really excited about. I'm a little nervous about this. Are you a little nervous?
No, I'm feeling great about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the deal. This is the last part of this live podcast experience. Again, thank you so much for coming out.
Yeah.
The issue now is that Chuck and myself, we know what's about to happen. Brad does not know.
I do not.
What is about to happen. It's a very special moment because we've joked a lot about, let's say, Brad's severe love of hot dogs.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. We've done some goofs. I think it started when on the podcast we were talking about your favorite hot dog place, which is back home in Dyer, Indiana.
That's correct.
Well, why don't you tell people about...
So it's a place called Boz's Hot Dogs, although in my youth, we always called it Bozo's because it was B-O-Z and then had a questionable clown face as, in a circle. And so it looked like Bozo. That was who I recognized from morning television because it was the 1900s. And that was all that was on TV.
And you were coming home from work.
And... And so, yeah, Bozo's was a part of my life growing up. And then between college and grad school, my brother and I, we would watch wrestling with a friend every Monday night. And on the way there, we'd stop at Bozo's, get whatever hot dogs, chili dogs, and or nachos we were going to get. And yeah, it was a thing. It's whenever I go home and I'm back in Indiana for a couple days, that's one of the places that I have to eat. I have to go to Bozo's or Boz's and eat something there. So, yes, I don't know what this has to do with anything, but...
We're just catching everybody up on where we are with this.
Please.
And I do think it's insane that this place is called Boz's Hot Dog. B-O-Z apostrophe S.
That's
and
correct.
I believe the story is because they were called Bozos, and then Bozo the Clown, or his, I don't know, constituency...
Cookie, Wizzo, all the other...
They threatened a lawsuit. Is this true?
That is what I learned. Now, I don't know if it's true or not.
Okay.
I choose to believe the apocryphal story that Bozo sued a very local hot dog chain.
And I choose to believe that too. Believe all clowns.
Yes.
That's where I am.
So that kind of establishes Brad's love of hot dogs. And Craig, can you go to the next image?
Oh, there's more images. Great.
Now, it's just a black screen, but I'm setting everybody up because if you remember, we did take a picture of Brad in the Comedy Connection basement with a hot dog. Next, Craig. Right? But the thing is, we took this image and we turned it into something. Go ahead, Craig. Next. Now,
Doesn't it look delicious?
now you might be wondering what you're looking at.
Yes, we all are.
What you're looking at is an advertisement for your new company, Brad's Brats.
Brats, not brats. That's a different company.
Yes.
So what Ray and I did was get 100 of these advertisements printed up. And we sent them to people all around the United States.
To drum up business.
To request to be at events, to request advice, to talk to other food vendors. And
it's simply, we believe in your passion.
What story did you guys tell me to get to take the photo? Because I think I said this better not be another postcard prank. I knew it was coming, and I walked into it
Well,
anyway.
you know what they say, fool me once, shame on you. Now, give me that hot dog.
Yes. I think this is the 4th time I've been fooled.
so Ray and I teamed up. We wrote a lot of places, and we whittled our favorite letters that we wrote down. And we're going to read you our favorite letters from Brad's Brats, that business that Ray and I physically sent across the country to different businesses and individuals.
My 10-year-old son was involved. He saw the postcards in my office. He's like, what is that? And then I explained what we were doing, and he loved it. And so the postcards that I wrote were dropped into the mailbox by my son. I made him complicit in
That's
this.
aiding and abetting, Finn. You are going to juvie. Mail
Now,
fraud.
Brad.
Yes.
Initial thoughts.
Is disgust a thought? I mean, first of all, great work on the graphic. Secondly, I just hit me with them.
I love
The hot dogs? Gross.
Yes.
All right, so here's the first one that I wrote. I wrote it to the Alabama Theater for their summer film series in Birmingham. So they got this advertisement and this letter on the back. Howdy, my name is Brad, and I'm the owner and founder of Brad's Brats. I'd like to cater your outdoor movie screenings this summer. By the way, it's pronounced brats, not brats, like bratwurst. Brad's Brats is another business I started. It was my failed babysitting service. Who knew you couldn't shake them to sleep? It's so effective. Of course there's a catch. With my hot dogs, I can shake these guys all I want without some dumb lawyer taking away my van. But I won't shake the hot dogs if you hire me. I know that would look like I'm masturbating. It was pointed out to me at my last catering job. I didn't realize it because I just don't have a sick mind like some people. Anyway, I'm done shaking babies to death and pretending to masturbate with my own hot dogs while I serve people food, so please hire me for your next event. Thanks. From Bouncin' Brad.
And I want to be clear. Are we mean doing this? Yes. But I think there's a through line here that is, if you have a dream, follow that dream. Okay?
Unless that dream is to do a podcast with two friends, then don't follow that dream.
This is the first time I've been involved in one of these pranks, and let me just say, I like it. So I figured, let's start local.
No.
Let's get the word out.
People might see me.
Yes. We got to start local. We got to get the word out. And I figured, how better than to drum up some press? So I wrote to the Providence Journal's food editor.
No!
Gail Ciampa. And Brad, here's what you wrote.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you think that's her, like, food journalist, Gail Ciampa? You think?
I bet she says that and goes, Hello, Gail. First, let me say how wonderful it is to see a woman in a lead role at the local paper. While it's a decision I wouldn't make personally, I think it's great you're in there mixing it up with the men. My name is Brad, and I'm a Rhode Island resident who's beginning a grand culinary adventure with my new hot dog cart/truck in Rhode Island. Whether it's a cart or a food truck all depends on the fat cats and bigwigs at the Rhode Island Department of Motor Vehicles. Hot dogs have been a passion of mine since puberty. And, and I can't wait to open Brad's Brats. I'll be slinging wieners to all the kids, parents, families, and degenerates of Rhode Island. No matter their color, creed, or religious background, because I was recently informed that the signs I had on the cart were illegal. I want to offer you a free hot dog, but all of my money is in the cart at this point. I'm cash poor and hot dog rich. All my best to you and your family, Brad.
Wonderful. I wanted to keep a short one, Brad. I thought you'd like if I kept it short because there's not that much room for...
Which area did you send it to that will hurt me now?
I sent this to several pet stores across the country.
Great.
Hey.
That's my normal salutation, so you nailed it.
What do you guys do with the sick pets? I can take them off your hands. No guinea pigs, too chewy, Brad.
I would never.
I sent this next one to 15 people named Maria.
That sounds like a ska song.
I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but he's dead. You know who. He's finally at rest. He told me his final wishes were for you to hire my company to cater your upcoming holiday or event. Don't let his death be in vain, Maria.
Brad, it's so threatening.
I don't think it's threatening.
15 Marias across the country. Went to their mailbox one day and went, So I also thought, since we're keeping it local...
No! Send it far away.
You got to think about where you're sourcing your fucking hot dogs.
It's important.
Right?
Shop
and I
local.
think you believe firmly in like a local supports local, right?
Absolutely.
So I sent this to Rhode Island's Blackbird Farm. They do sell beef. And so, Brad, here's what you wrote.
Again, not what I wrote.
Hello, simple farmer. My name is Brad, and after 68 years on this earth, I'm finally following my passion and opening a hot dog cart here in Rhode Island. If I had my way, I'd be opening a food truck, but the state of Rhode Island seems to be more interested in tyranny than supporting small businesses. I pray that President Trump will clear this all up in his third term. Anyway, I'm writing to you because I believe in local farm-to-hot dog cart food. Simple food grown by simple people for other simpletons to eat. I'd love to work out a deal for your beef exclusively in my buns. Get your heads out of the gutter.
Don't laugh at that one.
For starters, how many hot dogs can your cows lay at a time? I plan on having a successful business, so I'm sure I'll need a lot. Also, are your cows free range or do they stay inside? I have some other questions, but I suppose I should ask them to the cows directly. I look forward to doing business with you, simple farmer. I love you, Brad. We're building connection.
I mean, between the hey to the pet stores and the I love you guys really got the start and end. Every email I send.
I found an address for the FDA. I don't know how many of these advertisements they get, but probably not a lot.
Probably not.
Please tell me it's a different FDA.
No, it's the FDA.
Okay.
It's not like Fancy Denim Association.
Oh, I'm going to write there too.
Fancy Denim Association.
Dear FDA, my name is Brad. I run an illegal hot dog cart where I sell hot dogs. Where I sell hot dogs that I create in my bathtub.
Create?
Homemade and low grade is our motto. So how hard is it for me to get your seal of approval on my cart? I think it would really counteract all my terrible Yelp reviews. Yes, a few people have gotten severely ill eating my dogs, but that's not my fault. Most of the deaths associated with my hot dogs happened to people who had other contributing factors. One was fat, one was wicked fat, and one guy was very ethnic.
You never know.
Thanks. Also, you might want to wash this card before you handle it. Brad.
You know, I keep liking to stick local on these things.
You don't need
And now
to.
you got to think about who you're going to sell these hot dogs to.
Yes.
Where can you find a bunch of hungry hot dog willing people?
Oh, no.
So I wrote to the Foxy Lady Strip Club.
Now, hold on. That's not entirely true.
That is not entirely true. I wrote to the Foxy Lady and a couple other strip clubs.
Yeah.
In Rhode Island. There's the Cadillac.
Yeah, Cadillac Lounge.
There's Gents. What? Oh, thank you, creep. I appreciate that.
Wait. Is that Gent himself?
And Brad, here's what you wrote to the Foxy Lady. We'll just pick that one. Yep. Hello, Foxy lads and ladies. I'm writing to ask/let you know that I'll be parking my cart in front of your adult business next weekend to sell hot dogs to the horn dogs that frequent your curious and scary establishment.
I will say, hot dogs for horn dogs. Like,
now that's a charity.
Yes. I would fund that.
My greasy dogs are perfect for your greasy patrons. What a pairing. What a divine marriage. Which, incidentally, is the only time I believe the acts performed in your house of sin should be done. In divine marriage. So let's see some buns. Let's slip some meat in their hands. Let's lose the tops and add some toppings. You'll say hot dog to those tits, and my hot dogs are the tits. You'll come in your jeans for both. These are some of the slogans and catchphrases I'm workshopping for the chalkboard out front. My skilled promotions are just some of what I can bring to the champagne room. Speaking of, how about offering a private dance/public hot dog promotion on Saturday? It's the perfect way to unveil my newest creation, the Bloody Glitter Dog. Either way, I'll see you next weekend outside because I know I'm not allowed inside anymore. Please keep 3 to 5 parking spots open right up front for my cart. Love what you do, Brad.
I'm sorry, Foxy. I'm so sorry.
You got to get out there, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to be honest, Brad. You got pretty desperate in this next one. This one was sent to Oscar Mayer.
They make hot dogs. I don't know if you knew that. It's a bologna company that makes hot dogs.
I'm wearing Oscar Mayer socks right now.
Yep.
For good luck. I didn't expect this travesty to close the show.
Hey, Oscar, nice to meet you. You know how large companies will just buy out their competition? What do you think about Oscar Mayer buying Brad's brats? I'd settle for a cool 50 thou. If I'm being honest, I need this. I am hemorrhaging money. I've barely sold one dog. And I need that cheddar. I gots to wet my beak, you heard? Man, my beak is dry. My beak is the driest beak you've ever seen. Go ahead, touch it. It's sickening. You guys have such wet beaks. I see your commercials, your packaging, your hot dogs with real meat in them. Your beaks are soaked. I don't want to over-explain, but all I'm saying is, take a little of the moisture from your beak and drip it onto my cracked, broken, withered, dusty beak. So please consider my humble offer, and please consider the state of my beak versus your beak vis-a-vis wetness. Thank you, Brad.
I mean, good use of vis-a-vis, I guess.
Thank you.
Now this is a situation.
I'm never going to get my dream job at Oscar Mayer now.
Well, you haven't heard the next one.
Oh.
Because I think, sometimes great minds do think alike, and other times Chuck and I have the same idea. I also wrote to Oscar Mayer, not just a blanket statement. I wrote to a specific department, the Wienermobile. You guys know the Wienermobile? Brad, here's what you wrote. Hey, hot dog. I'm opening my own hot dog cart / food truck / camper van. New England is my territory when it comes to hot dog vehicles, you baloney bitch. The Wienermobile is so 2000 and late.
Yep.
The Bratmobile is where is gonna run you off the fucking road, you glizzy sluts. Keep your wiener out of my wiener area, Brad.
That's good. That's good.
You got so aggressive.
I just learned what glizzy was like. I just learned that term the other day. You'd think I would have known.
You think you would have known for how many times Pornhub came back with the search term can't be found?
Yes. That's There's still a lot of writing on that page.
Yeah.
We only have a few left.
Oh, yeah. Thank heaven.
We're going to get to the crown jewel of this at some point very soon.
All right. I also wrote to one of your heroes.
Oh, all right.
When it comes to food, you got to tap into who can do it the best. So, Brad, here's what you wrote to Guy Fieri. You guys are just awed like he is, like he's like demented in some way.
They were like, not Guy.
Not Guy.
Don't waste his time with this.
Gail Ciampa, sure, but Guy?
Hello, Guy. My name is Brad. I'm a guy, too. And I love screaming about flavor in various restaurants. We have so much in common already. I'm writing to inform you that I will be using the phrase Flavortown myself in my new hot dog cart. I call it a food truck, but according to the DMV, my cart isn't street legal.
That's a great through line for all these jokes.
You can try to stop me from using Flavortown, but I'm absolutely thirsty for you to take me to court. Sue me, Flavor Daddy. My defense? You claim to live in Flavortown, but there are many varied flavors. You should be taking people to Flavorstown, plural. That's just as, petty as Brad would get about something like that.
I mean, a little letter of the law. Flavors. I mean, I don't like most flavors, so I don't...
I know we're getting to that.
Oh, good.
My town? Solely populated with one single flavor. Hot dog. Case closed. I'll see you in Flavor Court, you living bobblehead. Also, please let me be on Divers, Drinkers, and Dunes. It would be a huge win for my cart. Thank you, and screw you, your brother in Christ, Brad.
Poor guy. Poor guy.
So I thought, because that was really funny and smart, the idea of writing Guy Fieri, I thought, let me elevate this in a way that is obscene and unnecessary.
Oh.
So I wrote to a serial killer. He's still behind bars. He has 8 victims. His name is Ed Kemper.
I like how you started with serial killer and then got to Ed Kemper. You could have said Ed Kemper and everybody would have been like, oh yeah, the serial killer.
So here's what Brad wrote.
Great.
It's funny, too, because I'm picturing the guards reading this, because they probably read it, right?
Yeah.
Hey. Psst. Hey.
I wrote in a whisper?
Listen, if you convince the guards to hire my hot dog cart to cater lunch one day, let's just say I'll make you a special hot dog. I could... Can you get in trouble for this?
Is this the end of Pee-wee's Big Adventure? Where's Michaela?
I can put all your favorite stuff on it. Ketchup, mustard, maybe a nail file if you catch my drift.
It is the end of Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Anyway, please let me know. Also, tell me why you're in jail. I just want to figure out how guilty I need to feel for busting you out. Thanks, Brad.
I like to think Ed Kemper read that in jail and went, "This is like Pee-wee's Big Adventure." Keeping in the theme of reaching out to celebrities and well-known people of all stripes. Brad, here's what you wrote to your next person.
And there's only 3 left. These are the last 3.
This is it. Dearest Jared Fogle.
Is it a Funbearable episode if we don't hear his name like 7 times?
It's like 3 times in here, so yeah. And by the way, I don't know if Jared's going to get the postcard, but his lawyers definitely will.
Great.
Because I wrote to them.
Good.
And I can't believe I found an address.
I found his mom's address and I sent it there too. So he might get it.
He might get it.
Yeah, I'm sure their whole thing is mail for him.
Jared, it's Mom. Yeah.
I've been captured by Steph.
Oh, okay, I'll let you go. Dearest Jared Fogle, I haven't seen you in any commercials lately. I hope you're staying slim and haven't gotten fat again. Gross. That would be the worst thing that could ever happen. I'm a huge fan of your work and everything you do. We have more in common than you could ever imagine. I've opened a hot dog cart called Brad's Brats, and I believe it could be bigger than Subway. And I want you to be the spokesman of the brand. People trust you. You're a tastemaker, a trendsetter. You are genuinely the coolest guy I'd like to know. You exude the likability and trust of a Bill Cosby father figure type, with the hip and cool attitude of an early 2000s Nickelodeon producer. I just know you'd love a little brat.
Nice.
I hope you'll consider joining me on this exciting adventure if you're not too busy. P.S. I know my letter may sound like I'm unaware of your crimes. Rest assured, I know what you did and I'm basically fine with it. Any press is good press.
So when Ray wrote that one, I was really jealous because that's really funny. So I was like, I want to find a place that's just as inappropriate. So I sent this one to like 20 funeral homes. What?
How many of them were local? I'm going to be buried in one of them. You guys are going to eulogize me next week. Turn me into...
There's going to be a mortuary where somebody's embalming you at some point and then go, does that guy look like the guy from the postcard?
Hang on, let me get the postcard. Yep, it's 80 years old. You're basically 60. 46.
So here's what Brad wrote. Hello. I am so sorry to hear about all your clients. That being said, crying makes people hungry. Grief makes people hungry. Unsolved murders make people hungry.
All true.
That's why I think your funeral home and Brad's Brats would be the perfect combo. I figured all we do is just ask great-grandma what kind of hot dog was her favorite, then serve that to the family when she bites the bullet. She could fill it out with her normal paperwork when she's about to kick the bucket, then at the funeral, we'll make up whatever bullshit we want and jack up the price. Great-grandma loved lobster on her hot dog. Yep, that's right, $28.50, please. LOL. Since we're both in the business of squeezing money from the destroyed family of recently deceased people, I feel comfortable sharing that hearty LOL with you. Anyway, let's have a meeting. I usually pop in just to see the bodies, so you'll probably recognize me. You guys have had some real cuties lately. Love, Brad. Now, this is the final postcard we sent.
Thank goodness.
And...
oh, no.
I think we should have Brad read the final one.
I don't...
And also...
Now, listen. Chuck and I, we had our jollies with our little goofs, sending out these very real postcards that we sent out. And that's not, it's just... We want you to succeed in your cart. Business.
Not real. Okay.
But you got to see it, visualize it, and it can happen.
Yeah. It sure can. This is
So, not only did we send those out, but we sent this one last postcard, and this is less a card about connecting and building a bond or a connection with another business, and this is more just sort of a warning. So why don't you go ahead and you read this one, Brad?
Dear Boz's Hot Dogs. You know, I used to look up to you, Boz. I used to think you were a god of hot dogs. I would come and sit in your restaurant with my family, and I would dream of becoming you. I saw you flipping dogs behind the counter and thought, someday, if I work hard enough, that could be me. But as I toiled, as I worked my fingers to the bone, I began to despise you. You're invited to all the cool hot dog celebrity parties while they toss me to the curb. Must be real nice to be at the top of the heap, looking down on all the peasants whose dreams you've helped destroy. Well, that all ends soon, because Brad's Brats is about to take over Dyer, Indiana. There's only room for one hot dog head honcho, one glizzy guru, and that man will be me. Mark my words, your empire is crumbling, Boz, and you only have yourself to blame. Oh yeah, one final thing before I go. You might want to check the Northwest Indiana Times this weekend. I put a little something for you in the newspaper. Best wishes, Boz. Brad, please tell me.
Craig, can you go to the next slide?
Don't go to the next
No, wait. If you guys think that we would do this to Brad and put it in the newspaper, you're some smarties. Next one, baby.
My parents get that paper.
They can save the clipping.
They will.
Better than Boz's, period.
I'm so sorry, Boz. I had no say in this.
Wow, you really broke bad on this one. I love that the top is just a good hot dog and Dyer. Finally. Because if you're Boz, you're looking at that going, hey, we do hot dogs.
I am speechless. And I wish the two of you were the entire time you were thinking of that bit. Woo! It's my mom's birthday. I'm going to call her anyway. I already called her once. And now I have to say, like, hey, don't read the paper. Ever again.
Oh, no. If you say that now, she'll be like, oh, Brad, were you helping the man next time?
Yes.
The mic didn't work on that joke. Yeah. It would have hit with the crowd more if it didn't cut out. One of the mics keeps cutting out. I graciously gave Brad the working one, and then my joke suffered for it.
Yeah, it's a lesson.
Yeah,
it's a lesson about trusting your friends.
And you know what? This show was a lesson about trusting your friends.
Don't do it. Don't do it. That's the moral.
We're just trying to push you. We're trying to push you to follow your dreams.
I mean, I've been unemployed for 20 months. Why not?
20 months? That's a huge baby.
Yes.
Thank you, one person. I appreciate it. Did this cut out again?
Brad, I think your mom is going to pick up this paper this weekend.
Yep.
And I think she's going to be like, wow, he's doing the thing.
Yes.
I like that.
You know what's going to happen? I'm pedaling around Dyer, cart, who knows. And then I'm gonna see my parents like pulling into Boz's, like, we love this place.
I can't wait for the next time you go back to Dyer, Indiana, and you go to Boz's Hot Dogs, because I feel like somebody's going to be flipping hot dogs in the back, and they're going to be like,
No.
"Is that fucking guy from the ad paper? Is that from the fucking paper?"
What I'm hoping is that is like pasted in the window with like a big "don't serve" thing circling his fucking face.
I mean, who knows when I'll go home next? Probably December. But I hope that it's blown over by then, and I can go back to my favorite hot dog place back. And that you guys didn't just ruin it for me.
No, we didn't ruin it. They have short memories.
Yeah.
It's all the chemicals in the hot dogs that'll do it.
Yeah, the nitrates deteriorate their minds quickly, very quickly. But we've had a lot of fun here tonight.
Yes.
I think we should give it up for Brad.
Yeah.
I think we should give it up for Brad and Brad's brats. Brad.
No.
You did a nice thing and then turned at me.
Yeah, it was very sweet, and then it wasn't.
Oh, God, Brad, you're rock hard.
I'm surprised anyone could notice. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Thank you for supporting Funbearable. Thank you for taking a chance for those of you who didn't know what you were getting into and are now regretting it.
Oh, yeah. We will be back out there with, our buddy Corey. He's going to be helping us sell some shirts and stickers and stuff. We'll be saying hi to everybody. But really, thank you for supporting live comedy. Thank you for supporting weird comedy. And, Brad, I think that the actual line that we end our show with has never been more appropriate than it is, like, right this second.
For Chuck Staton and Ray Harrington, I'm Brad Rohrer saying thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.